Find ways to connect people to get some new perspective, to get some feedback, to get some insight. It doesn't matter if you want to use internal coaches or external coaches. Certainly, there are all sorts of people that can provide coaching resources for you externally, and there are times and places where that's of great value, and there are times where that's not necessary and all you need is something internal. So I don't care how formal or informal. I don't care if you're using internal or external resources. I'm suggesting that plugging this piece into your process is one of the very best things you could do. And maybe, and I'm going to challenge you to think about how can I do this even if I'm resource limited. Because if it's internal resources and you do it informally, it doesn't take much resources. It takes some ingenuity. It takes some persuasion perhaps. But that's all it might take, and that single thing might be the thing that pulls together the pieces of what you already have to make it more effective. Next, add a 360 assessment process. Don't just give everybody a 360 to do. Add a process. HRDQ has 360 processes. We have 360 processes. Lots of people have them. There's nothing wrong with any of them that I've ever seen. What's wrong is how they're implemented. So make sure that you think about that. If you want to build leaders, people need a benchmark and they need to have some feedback. And a 360 assessment process is one of the most powerful ways to do that, done correctly. And that doesn't necessarily have to be highly expensive or resource intensive either. Lastly, provide additional resources. This has never been easier. I mean, this has never been easier, right? We got this thing called the internet. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. I mean, there are so many great resources. I was teaching a workshop a while back about delegation. I say, well, if all you want to know is some tips on how to delegate, just go to the web. Go to Google, and you can find all the tips that you want. The point here is your job